Well, hello and welcome back to another edition of the Journal. In this episode, I take a tough 13.5-mile solo hike along a section of the Northbound Pacific Crest Trail and try to find the elusive Goldshot Mine. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the Pacific Crest Trail. You know, that long trail that traverses the west coast of the United States, from Mexico at the southern end all the way to our Canadian friends at the northern terminus. Well, in this edition, I pick up the PCT from near the Paradise Cafe on Highway 74 and hike northwards toward the San Jacinto Desert Divide along a scenic section of trail with some spectacular views of Garner Valley and the mighty San Jacinto Range. Along the way, I trudged through some unexpected snow, some ice, and some surprisingly beautiful terrain on my way to locate what I spotted on the map as the Goldshot Mine. Now, looking at other nearby trail descriptions on all trails, I didn't find a route heading to the Goldshot Mine, but what I did discover was a route to nearby Pyramid Peak. Looking at my mapping software, it appeared that the trail crossed a small trail, or maybe even a fire break in the trail. I plotted a course off the PCT and popped in some waypoints to keep me on track, and I printed the map. Now all I needed to do was try to find out more about the Goldshot Mine. According to minedat.org, the Goldshot Mine is located about 9/10 of a mile southeast of Butterfly Peak in the San Jacinto Mountains of Riverside, California, and it was in use way back in the 1890s. Working at the mine included underground mining openings and adits compressed of a tunnel driven 60 to 70 feet west. Reportedly, a shaft is at the portal and is 90 feet deep with a 100-foot drift driven west at the 50-foot level. According to the latest findings, the mine workings are now flooded. The deposit is comprised of quartz stringers and local rocks, including Pleo-Pleistocene loosely consolidated deposits from 2.5 million years to 11.5 million years ago. According to the San Jacinto Ranger District of the San Bernardino National Forest, this abandoned mine currently poses a safety and health risk to the public because there are 2 vertical mine shafts surrounded by unstable rock and rotting timber, and it occasionally floods with water. Yikes. It also includes 1 horizontal mine opening with extensive dumped trash, and also within the underground workings, it's full of rotting timber, rusting metal, bad air, low oxygen levels, deep water, and other unknown hazards. Sounds like an adventure. Now, the U.S. Forest Service plans to permanently close the mine openings with a combination of mechanical means, which is backfilling or using a backhoe or a small excavator, and a foam plug. And they also plan on removing the non-hazardous waste. Well, that's my plan. Take in a little bit of the PCT I hadn't been to before and find a dangerous abandoned mine and explore it all by myself. After my last mishap along a snowy and icy section of the PCT near Spittler Peak and another icy drive down to the Three Sisters Falls near Julian, I really wasn't too excited when I saw that snow all the way to the trailhead. Since we had another cold storm roll in, dropping the snow level down to about 2,500 feet, there were still sections covered with snow along the highway, even all the way back in Anza. Since it would be a very nice day today, I was sure it would melt by the time I got back to the Jeep. All right, well, we're heading up just out of Anza, and got stuck behind this truck pulling a trailer, and he was nice enough to pull over here on the pull-out. That's nice of him. There's quite a bit of snow here on the shoulders. Since we're a little over 4,000 feet now, there's some remnants of a storm that went through with a lot of low elevation snow. Snow level got down to 2,500 feet or so, they say. And now we're entering the San Bernardino National Forest. There's the sign. And we're almost to the Paradise Cafe. Right as we get over this little pass here, we'll drop down to the Paradise Cafe and make a right on Highway 74 as we head to the PCT turnoff. Looks like there's some ice here in the puddles. A little bit of snow on the trail. Shouldn't be too bad today. Looks like there's quite a few cars. There's a handful at least. Well, good morning. It's a bright and early Sunday morning here out in I guess this would be the far south end of Garner Valley. I'm going to start a hike up the PCT. I'm going to be going northbound PCT right after it crosses Highway 74. The Paradise Cafe is just behind me here, about a mile or so. PCT cuts across the The ridge line behind us shoots across Highway 74, and from this point forward, going northbound, you're going to start the grade up toward the San Jacinto Divide. So that's where we're heading today. It's a little chilly today. All right, well, here's our first sign. I've only gone 20 feet up the trail. Oh, well, there you go. There's my warning. When snow is present, spikes required beyond PCT mile 169, or take the PCT alternate Spittler Peak Trail to Idlewild. So they know it gets pretty icy up here. And it looks like right ahead of me is another little monument. It looks kind of cool. A nice little PCT monument. It's a little worn and faded. Sure, it's been here quite a few years. Still pretty cool. As we're heading northbound PCT. Well, I'm just a little short ways past the trailhead up the PCT, and hopefully you can make that out. That is Toro Peak and Santa Rosa Mountain over there. And if there's any reminder that you'll need that this is still considered the desert section of the PCT. There was some ribbonwood manzanita, and here's a little piece of red shank manzanita. That's on the other side, you can't see it. But there is some prickly pear cactus, some beaver tail, and some other desert type plants. There's some cactus right there in the snow. And that would be looking southbound on the PCT, right where it crosses Highway 74. Anyway, I do have a small, slight little window glimpse towards San Jacinto, Mount San Jacinto, but now it's covered in the trees. There's a red shank manzanita. In fact, there's more right here. Get you a better look. You can always tell the red shank because how smooth the bark is, and it's obviously red. So, and then the ribbonwood manzanita is right next to it. In fact, that's a big specimen of the ribbonwood right here as we're heading northbound PCT. All right, well, I'm heading just now starting up the trail. Just left the car about a minute ago. Had a nice little warning sign over talking about the PCT and icy conditions. And since there is some snow, it's a little wet and moist here in spots, but it's all going to melt pretty quick. Anyway, looks like it's going to be a pretty day today. Nice and clear. Cold, but it's clear. There's some more cactus in the snow this morning. It's too cold for snakes, I think, today. Maybe later on this week. It's supposed to be in the 80s up here, so we'll see. Now I came around the corner here, and I wanted to show you this view. We got a phenomenal view off in the distance of San Jacinto. Way off in the distance there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There you go. And that's the entire San Jacinto Divide right there. We're going to be working our way up there somewhere at some point. Don't know exactly where, but anyway, that's Mount San Jacinto and Tahquitz Peak, Tahquitz Rocks in front of it, and then off to the right you got a bunch more. Ansel Rock and Apache and Red Tahquitz and Spittler where I was, and Pyramid and Lion and Pine, and I don't know, who knows how many other peaks are up there, but we're going to work our way not to the top of any of those, but we're going to be a little lower in the valley. Stay away from the snow and the ice, I think. You never know, we might run into, looks like the snow's getting deeper right here in front of me. I'm kind of glad I brought my micro spikes today. I might need them. You know, I was telling you that I'm lucky I brought my micro spikes. I mean, a lot of the trail is clear, like you can see, but there are patches, like right now I'm tippy-toeing. You know, there are patches that are clear, but I am tipping through some sections that are a little icy. As the day goes on, it'll heat up, and I'm hoping whatever ice is on the trail will turn to slush and mush, and it won't be that big of a deal. So we'll see. Boy, what a phenomenal view from up here. Wow. And here's another phenomenal view of the valley. Over on my left is Thomas Mountain. And to the right, in the back, obviously, is San Jacinto. There's a little flat spot right here. I'm going to go up here and see what this is. Looks like this might have been a camp. Small little rock pile at one point. Maybe it's a makeshift campsites for northbound PCTers. Oh boy, what a view. Garner Valley is way off in the distance. Now see, I had a feeling this was going to happen. All the south and west facing slopes are going to be clear, and all the north and east side slopes are going to be covered in compacted snow and ice. So at some point you have to make the decision, are you going to wear your micro spikes and hike through the mud, or are you just going to take a chance of a slip and a fall on ice? There's no exposure here, which is unlike Spitler or Apache, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt if you landed on your elbow on the trail, you know? So we'll see. We'll keep going and see how this plays out. If it gets too bad, I'll put them on, but really don't want to. You know, I hate these sections. Anything on the northeast side is covered in snow and makes it a lot more difficult. You know, there's patches of dirt right in front of me, but I get a little nervous because a few years back I tore my meniscus in my right knee and had surgery to repair it. And it's been really good for the last several years. But, you know, one accidental slip on this stuff, or if I go down on my right knee, I'm a little worried. And so it's in the back of my mind. So I'm going to really go slow through these icy, snowy sections. I'm hoping that once we get out a little further, the sun's going to hit the trail and it's going to be drier and ice-free. This section of the PCT is kind of known for being sun exposed. So if you're waiting for the snow to melt and the ice to melt, that's a good thing. So anyway, we're going to keep plowing ahead in the snow and the ice, looking for a nice, warm, sunny patch. Well, this is what I was hoping for. Once I got out from behind that northeast slope of that hill, I'd be in a little more sun-exposed area. And true to what I believed, snow has melted a lot faster up here, and hopefully, at least for a little while, I'll be in some pretty safe terrain as I'm working my way northbound on the PCT. Well, this is a nice little change of scenery. Pretty good grove of pine trees as we're just now starting the beginning of Garner Valley, which is looking north. But what you don't see, I'm thinking, well, that's a great spot for a camp for a PCTer. There's a chain link fence right there. So obviously this is private property, and the private property continues up that direction. You can see the fence line, and you can see where our trail is going to be going off to the right and then up over that little grade. Well, what I wanted to show you, this is my view looking south, and that little line of snow in the trail is where I came from as it works its way down to the right. Back up the upper slope up there, you'll see the cut in the side of the hill. That's the PCT, I imagine. And over to the left, poking out above the top of that ridge line, is Santa Rosa and Toro Peak. And the other thing I wanted to show you, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'll zoom in here, way off in the distance. I'll zoom in here. I don't know if you can make that out. That's the glistening or the glow of the Hale telescope on top of Mount Palomar. And to the left, the snow-covered peak right there. To the left of it is High Point Lookout, which is the highest point in the Palomar mountain range. And we're continuing northbound. And here's a really gorgeous red shank manzanita. This thing is huge. And it's very, very old. I wouldn't doubt this thing is almost 30 feet high. Some magnificent boulders here as well. There's another big boulder over here. I tell you what, if you're a rock climber or boulder, there's some pretty good spots up here. And I'm glad I'm in a little more of the sun here, because I was getting tired of plowing my way through that mud and ice. What a gorgeous manzanita. Well, you know, as I've come out more in the open slope, It's really pretty up here. And I also started to get hot. I was climbing up that hill and I was wearing that Merrill synthetic hoodie, and I was getting hot. Even my hands were getting hot. So took that off and took off my jacket, and who knows, when I get a little higher up and I hit that breeze again, maybe it'll come back on. But for now, I'm good. But it's so quiet right here. You hear the jets flying by, leaving vapor trails. In fact, there's one right now leaving the vapor trail out here as they're heading toward Anza-Borrego. Some couple of snow patches on the slopes I see ahead of me, but it's gorgeous up here. Notice how the terrain has changed a little bit. Now the rocks have turned red. They're actually really pretty. Don't know if that's algae or who knows on the rocks, but it is pretty up here as the wind's starting to funnel through this little canyon. You know, a while back when I stopped to take off my jacket, I also checked my GPS, and about 2.5 miles right now. So the goal today is about 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to about the 5 mile point and stop and take a break, have lunch, and then head back. Well, this is a really nice area. There's a jet flying by off in the distance. It's very scenic down here, a lot prettier than I anticipated. Looks like this must have been a water runoff maybe at some point. Who knows? Maybe volcanic activity a million years ago. Nice sunny spot. Okay, I'm looking at this rock. I really can't tell what the hell happened here. It's kind of hard to tell with the other rock behind it. Let me work my way around it. Almost looks like a hen, or maybe it's a rabbit. I don't know. You got to use your imagination, I guess. Well, there's another pretty fantastic looking rock formation here along the PCT. And the wind is channeling down this canyon. And I might have to break that jacket back out again. Well, check that out. It kind of reminds you of Cap Rock and Joshua Tree. How unique is that? And then off to the left here, a little bit of Half Dome. And I don't know what that is. It's pretty unique. And it looks like we're going to have a great view of San Jacinto right behind it in the background. You know, it's taken me forever to get anywhere because in this section I stopped so many times. There's a cabin or a ranch down there in the bottom, and it looks like there's a pond and another cabin way off in that little snowfield at the base of the mountain. And there's another shot of Palomar Mountain range in the background with the observatory on top. But it's really pretty up here, a lot more scenic than I imagined. You know, as I'm working my way up, I see this big giant monolith up here, and it looks like it has an overhang. I might have to go check that out. That looks kind of cool. exactly an overhang. It makes one hell of a wind block. And this is our first little glimpse of water here. That was that overhang I went to. There is a recession right back there. I might go back up there later. This one over here isn't really completely as what it appears. Still worth the climb. It's pretty cool. All right, as we're working our way around the edge of this slope here, you can see the desert divide beginning to take shape. You can see the individual peaks. I don't know which one is which, but you can just imagine it's Pine and Lion and Pyramid, Spittler eventually, and then of course way off in the distance is of course San Jacinto. At some point I'm going to run across Pimlico Canyon Road, which is the road I want to take to the left to try to see if I can find the Goldshot Mine. So I won't be going up to those peaks. In fact, now that I've said that, it looks like that could very well be Pimlico Canyon Road coming down right there. And the Goldshot Mine could very well be in those rocks over there. So we'll see in a minute. You know, I have lost quite a bit of elevation, which I really wasn't looking forward to, but as the PCT crosses, there is some water down here. You could filter it if you needed to. Well, it's funny, this is the first PCT sign I've seen since I left the trailhead. And in fact, even at the trailhead, there wasn't a PCT sign. It was just that that monument. Well, my shoulders were starting to hurt a little bit, so I thought I'd stop here for a minute or two and pull out my map and compare it to my GPS. You can see, if you can get a closer shot here. There we go. That's where I started. And you can see the blue line. That's where I'm heading today. And so far, I've hiked about 4.5 miles, and I'm right at the split where it says 11,540. That's these are UTM coordinates. And then right above that is where it says 5232. That's about where I am now, and I have to go up to Pimlico Canyon, which is ahead of me here, just a little ways, less than a half mile. And I've got it on my my Garmin 60 CSX, which actually has a little more accurate GPS pinpoint location status than the inReach. And I custom print these maps at home, so this is actually 3 separate maps taped together. But it gives me a close-up view. I can actually pinpoint down within a couple hundred feet of where I'm at, which is really nice. Well, I just passed my 3rd PCT sign, and this is a nice little spot for camp right here. A perfect spot, huh? Sure, quite a few people have camped here over the years. A little fire ring, place to sit. And this is our 4th PCT sign, paddle marker. Starting to see them on a more frequent basis now. And when we reach Pimlico Canyon, where we turn left, the PCT continues probably straight and begins climbing toward the San Jacinto Desert Divide. Well, I just stopped and checked the map again. Seems like I've been hiking for miles and miles, and that Pimlico Canyon Road is very elusive. Took about a 5-minute break back there just to check the map again, and I'm still getting there. But it was supposed to be from the trailhead, according to the mapping software, to the mine. That includes going up the PCT to Pimlico, turning left, going another half mile or so to get to the access road that goes to the mine. The turnaround was supposed to be about 5.5. I'm at 5.5 miles from where I started this morning, and I'm not even at Pimlico yet. So my guess is it's around this corner on the other side of this valley. I could see the road up from the higher elevations. I could see it going toward it. I just couldn't get there. The PCT goes around it, so I'm going to keep going for a little while at least and see if I make it there. I don't know. It's a long way. Well, I believe I'm on Pimlico Canyon Road. Nothing is marked. And I thought this was going to be a pretty easy straightforward 10-mile day. Doesn't look like it. I just checked the map on all trails, and it sure shows that I'm on a side trail, which isn't even marked. But I believe this is Pimlico Canyon Road. And in front of me, I can see hills and large rocks, so I'm assuming that's where the Goldshot Mine is. And believe it or not, I did not put the GPS coordinates or waypoints for the mine on my Garmin 60 CSX, which I noticed. But I did put them on my inReach, so I confirmed that yeah, we're on this road now that is not marked, and it's actually not even a road fit for vehicles. And it shows the trail, so it kind of is a trail. I'm going to have to keep my eye out. And the good thing is I have my GPS running in the back pocket, so it's leaving a breadcrumb from trail marks. So I'm a little worried about the time. I'm a little worried about the time. It's already almost 11:30. Started hiking about 8:30. Been 3 hours. I'm a good probably hour from the mine. I'm a good hour from the mine, so it's not going to give me a whole lot of time there. Well, the Goldshot Mine is somewhere over there. I've been trying for a half hour now. Every time I go down, there's really no trail. It's been off-trail bushwhacking. Every time I found an avenue, I get stopped by overhead manzanita and I can't get through it. I've had to backtrack uphill like 4 times already. I'm only 2/10 of a mile from the mine, so it's right there. I just got to figure out a way to get to it. Okay, I busted through some manzanita and now I see vehicle tracks. So that's a good thing. This is a road of some kind. My guess is this is the road that's going right to the mine. So at least now I'll have some easy terrain to negotiate. I should be there in a few minutes. All right, well, I'm closing in on the mine. I can see one of the cabins, one of the outbuildings. Here, as I get a little closer. I know this has been closed. The mine itself has been closed by the National Forest Service because of the vertical and horizontal mine shafts. But it does say no trespassing, but I'll be careful, I'll be quick. I'm just glad I reached it. I didn't think I would ever get here. Well, this is the Goldshot Mine. This is the original residence. Let's go ahead and check this out. Looks like it's got some leaks here. This brick here, as you come in, is a little unstable. I do have to watch. Snakes and rats. Don't know how stable this floor is. Looks like the fly swatter's been here for a few years. It looks like the top to an old Coleman lantern. And this must be where their wood stove must have been. They have lights hung, so there must have been power at one point, maybe through a generator. Who knows? Or their pantry over here is just covered with about an inch of rat droppings. So is this. I do not want to be scooting this around because of the handlebars. There's an old pair of jeans here. I wonder how old these are, how far. You always see those YouTube videos. Check this out. Somebody wore these in the mine years ago. It's covered in rat droppings, so I really don't want to touch it any more than I have to. Some old paint containers. I don't know what this used to be. Looks like insulator of some kind. Anyway, we're in the inside the Goldshot Mine. We're gonna go explore some more here in a minute. Well, here's some more mining artifacts at the Goldshot Mine. I was never a miner, so I don't really know what any of this stuff is. Looks like they used to use this as their dump. And we do have to go look for the entrance to the mine. It's here somewhere. Here are some more remnants of the mining operation. I don't know, could that be part of a rail line? Who knows? All kinds of strange things here. This could very well be the beginning of the Goldshot Mine. Well, I'm in the Goldshot Mine, and I have to admit, it is a little scary entering a mine by yourself. I'm not going to go very far. I'm definitely not taking any chances, that's for sure. Big icicle right there. I don't think this goes back too far. And I did not bring my flashlight, it's on my pack, so I am not going to go back too much farther. And it's about as far as I can see. And if you were so inclined to take a bath out here after a long day in the mine, I guess you could use that trough filled with water that maybe heats up during the day. And you could drain it into your bathtub. Have a little bit of privacy behind the tree there. There's one more thing I want to see before I have lunch. Well, I've been hiking up from the Goldshot Mine for about 15 minutes. Didn't realize how much of a downhill climb it was to get to it, and this is not Pimlico Canyon Road, this is a trail. Pimlico Canyon Road is a little farther to the south, but this is going to go straight uphill at the head of this valley, and it's going to make a right where I'm going to get back on the PCT heading southbound. So I can't wait for that moment, because right now I'm getting really tired. I'm about almost 8 miles in right now. Well, I came up that side trail, and that's coming in from the left side of the screen. And now I'm back on the PCT. That's north. And this is the PCT heading south. So from here, it's a straight shot back to the car. Only problem is it's about 7 miles away. I've already done 8 by now, I'm sure. So it'll be a long day. I got the rest of the afternoon. It's only 12:30. Okay, well over there is the Goldshot Mine from the Northbound PCT, and in fact, now that I know where it is, I'm going to zoom in here, and I know it'll get blurry, but you can actually see the cabin right there in the bottom middle of the screen. Well, this is a section of my trail as I'm heading back. This is southbound PCT. It's mainly snowy just kind of right here in the northeast slope. Well, what I wanted to show you today was this old stove. This is a Savea 123 gas burning stove. It's I got this at an antique store. They didn't know what it was. It was in with the tools. It was marked as a burner. And this thing here is probably 50 years old. All right, well, looks like I got it now. Takes a while to heat up, but once it does, it burns pretty quick. I've got some excess fuel going on down there, so. I actually think I did bring a windscreen. Let's look. Sure did. Doesn't really need a windscreen. It has a windscreen pretty much by itself, but this will help. You don't want to give it too much of a windbreak though, or it'll end up overheating. And if you can hear it, you can hear that's the iconic sound of this Savea 123. Well, now you can hear the sound of the Savea stove as it's doing its thing here along the Pacific Crest Trail. I'm going to make some coffee just to get me some added caffeine here. I could use it. So I'm going to be making some avalanche coffee, some mochaccino in my Cooksa. And maybe I'll have a second cup. I'll have a cup of the Vena Cafe. That's got quite a bit of caffeine in it, so that'll help me for the last little bit of my adventure here in the PCT. But now that I've got my Savea 123 burning pretty good, looks like I'm at a rolling boil here. Oh yeah, time to turn that off. All right, gonna make some coffee this afternoon. Go ahead and turn that off. I hate when it's windy, because when it's windy, whenever you pour this coffee in your cup, half of it blows away. Still kind of hot. Stir this coffee up. This is going to be good. If you never had avalanche coffee, this is the real deal here. This is phenomenal. I think I'm going to sit here, have my coffee, enjoy this afternoon sun. I still got about 2.5 miles to go, 2.25 miles to go. Get back to the car. I'm almost at 10 right now, which is kind of surprising, because when I was way back there, I was at 8, and I could have sworn there's more than 4 miles back to the car. So I don't know, maybe as a crow flies it's 2.25, probably more than that by the time I stick to the trail. But the PCT is right next to me here, so I'll have my coffee. I have enough maybe for maybe another one, I don't know, I'm not sure. And then I'll head out. Bit of a tough hike. It's bright and sunny, as you can see, and the temperature's holding up nice. It's probably 50, I would imagine, upper 40s. But the sun, when the sun comes in and you're kind of protected from the wind, it actually feels really nice. Some of the more shaded areas, obviously, you're a little chillier. And as long as you're moving, your body temperature is warm enough to keep you warm. I haven't had any trouble staying warm today. I have plenty of extra layers besides that orange Merrell hoodie. I also have a Montbell down vest and a wind chill. So, and beanie and gloves like I always bring. So I shouldn't have any trouble, and on the way home I should be heading almost directly into the sun. I'm heading south and west, so I'll be heading into the setting sun this afternoon, so it ought to be in my face the whole time. And I'm hoping after I drink this in about 20 minutes, I'll pack up here and get back on the northbound or southbound PCT. And I'm hoping to be back at the car by 3. That'll get me home about 4, just in time for dinner. Oh, do you ever get that feeling that the trail is uphill in both directions? I know it can't be true, but I swear it felt like it was uphill until I dropped down to the Goldshot Mine, and then I had to climb all the way uphill to get back to the PCT. And even the section of the PCT from there to here, I made really good time in the beginning until I took my break, and now it's going up and down and up and down. It's just taking all the wind out of my sails, and part of it is probably that I haven't eaten enough, and I'm probably dehydrated, and I'm also exhausted. I haven't checked the GPS in a while. I have a feeling I'm at about mile, it's got to be 11 or 12 at least by now. Now remember, I climbed up on that ledge on the way up here, and now since it's afternoon, the sun is at a different angle. I'm curious as to, number one, what those markings are, and number two, what those pock marks are. It's kind of weird. Who knows? Erosion, I guess, over the years. Well, looking north from the PCT, now I can tell a little better where I was. That spot right there, the base of that's where the mine is. Our trail skirts the right side of the hill, goes around 2 different sets of rock outcrops, ends up over by those tall pine trees on the right, goes through there. That's where I had my break. And then you have to go kind of cross country down that sort of road, sort of trail down to the left to get to the mine. It's a long ways. You know, walking in this mud is horrible. Like I said, I'll take the snow any day. Everywhere you step, you're sliding. And you can see how people have slid left and right. You just can't put your foot in it and walk straight ahead. You slide left and right. It really makes it difficult. Very soupy. I'm glad the trail's not too far from being over, because I don't know how much more of this I can handle. This is torture. You can see even the dog prints are sliding. I'd much rather take the snow. Well, I'm not too far from the car. I can actually see it. Well, not the vehicle, but I just saw a highway sign, and I saw the top of a car driving past. So I'm not too far from it. Tell you what, this last mile has sucked. That mud was just ridiculous. That made a really good hike turn into kind of a shitty hike there toward the end. That was something else. Oh man, what a day. I checked the GPS, and it was 13 and a half miles from right here in the car at the northbound PCT trailhead to the Goldshot Mine and back. It was 13 and a half miles. So it's about 3:20. So I made it, I don't know how many hours that was, you do the math. But I'm exhausted, and the last mile just sucked. It was that mud was horrible, because you would take a step and slide 6-8 inches left or right. You had to hold your arms out and balance because you were slipping and sliding everywhere. And I wasn't the only one. There were other footprints that were slid everywhere.
The snow was much better, to be honest. I tried to get on the snow as much as I could, and but I made it to the Goldshot Mine. I almost turned around, man. I got to a certain point, and I thought, this isn't worth it. I could see about where I thought it might be, and I thought, I don't know if I can make it there. And then when I got down off the trail, off the PCT, and I got to those areas where it was just sagebrush over my head, and I didn't really have a clear trail. There really isn't a trail down there. It's kind of an off-trail scramble. But thank God I had the GPS. I had the coordinates on my inReach of all things, and it took me right to the front door. So, what do you know? I'm glad I have 2 GPSs. Guess I said one of them I didn't have waypoints on. But anyway, so I'm back here at the car. I'm going to be heading back home here in a minute. I got a coconut water. That ought to be pretty good. That's good hydration for me. And then just to quench the thirst, I've got a iced tea, Arizona iced tea. So it's been a tough day. It's been a good day. Didn't see one person on the trail. That was amazing. So anyway, got to head home. Well, I've got orders from the wife, pick up a pizza on the way home. So when I get to a place where there's cell reception, I get about 15 minutes from the house. I got to stiff a call and order the pizza. And then go home and relax. My left leg is cramping a little bit. Hopefully I can make it home without a full cramp in the car. That was a tough hike today. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Hiking Journal. And hope you enjoyed the last one at Three Sisters Waterfalls. So I don't know what the next one's going to be. I think I'm going to wait until my new boots come in. And maybe I'll try something a little drier. And maybe a little easier, maybe a little shorter. So we'll see. But anyway, take care. Be sure and click and subscribe to the channel. Tell everybody you know about it. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Journal, my solo adventure along the Northbound Pacific Crest Trail, and my exploration of the abandoned Goldshot Mine. In the next adventure, I take a scenic stroll along Vale Lake to break in some new boots and climb to the top of Oak Mountain. Here I get a glimpse of one of the largest Indian massacre sites of California and one of the premier bass fishing destinations that is no longer available to the public. And I'll talk more about this in this fascinating piece of Southern California history in a future episode. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for the channel. And if you haven't done so already, be sure and tell a friend about the channel. Take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye. Oh, also, if you have any questions or comments about this or any other episode of the Journal, feel free to leave a post in the comment section below. I always love looking at the comments and answering questions about the trails I've been on. Hopefully it'll motivate somebody else to get out there and hit the trail. Alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.